much goodness. We know that we're supposed to be doing some higher intensity exercises. So where do we begin? Like, how do we begin to incorporate this into our lifestyle? And is there some sort of formula that we should be using? Yes, there is. And is there a way, like, what is our starting point? Like, how do we go about doing this? Well, you need to be aware that there's 3 different body types. And you're going to fall into one of these categories, and I'll give you an example as well. The first one is an ectomorph. Ectomorphs are people who are naturally thin. They have thin limbs. You would usually refer to them as skinny. Their breakdown of macronutrients, and this will come into play a little bit later, but proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. Proteins is 25%, carbohydrates is 55%, and fat is 20%. So that's the breakdown of an ectomorph. So this is someone who doesn't really necessarily gain weight easily and generally is on the smaller side, smaller frame, less fat on their body. So there's a specific way that they need to train in order to get to the desired results that they want. They are usually people that have high endurance, so they are slow twitch fiber type of people. Like, I'm a fast twitch fiber type, and I'll probably use myself as an example here later. But they are thyroid dominant. They have a fast metabolic rate usually, and they have a high sympathetic nervous system activity, and they have a higher carbohydrate tolerance. There's not a lot of people out there like that for the most part. Then the next one, some of their typical goals include gaining strength and size, especially in their limbs. Most of the time they have that as a goal. And maintaining body weight and strength during high volume endurance exercise or activities. The training recommendations for someone like this, if this is you, is 3 hours a week of resistance training, 30 minutes a week of high intensity conditioning, 60 minutes a week of low intensity conditioning. So you could do like 30 minutes all at once, or you can break it up into 2 15-minute increments, or you can do like 60 minutes a week of low intensity exercise. You can do that all at once, or you can break it up into 2 30-minute bouts of exercise, or into like 4 15-minute segments. So it's any way that you can break it up and fit it into your day, into your week, is how you should do it, however it works best for you. Then next up we have mesomorphs. Mesomorphs are naturally muscular and athletic. So their macronutrient breakdown is 30% protein, 40% carbohydrate, and 30% fat. So some other characteristics of this body type is that their testosterone and growth, they have testosterone and growth hormone dominant. They're moderate to high sympathetic nervous system activity and moderate carbohydrate tolerance. Their typical goals will be stuff like building muscle mass while maintaining low body fat percentage, and they're more willing to do things that support athletic performance. Training recommendations for an mesomorph is 4 hours a week of resistance training, 30 minutes a week of high intensity conditioning, 60 minutes a week of low intensity conditioning. And the last of the body types is the endomorph. That's what I fall under. Generally naturally broad and thick. Their macronutrient breakdown is 35% protein, 25% carbohydrate, and 40% fat. Insulin dominant, slow metabolic rate, usually low sympathetic nervous system and activity, and tend to have a low carbohydrate tolerance. And a typical goal for someone like me is to lose body fat, especially in the central area of their body, like around the ab section and around the lower back section. So training recommendations for someone like me is 4 hours a week of resistance training, 60 minutes a week of high intensity conditioning, and 90 minutes a week of low intensity conditioning. And again, you can break that up into however it works best for you. Now, so how do you figure out what's the first thing? I probably should have mentioned this first, but the first thing you should probably start with is like, what is your activity? Like, what is your how much are you moving around and how much are you actually working out? So it depends on what your goal is. Like, for instance, if you have a weight loss goal, or if you have a weight maintenance goal, or if you have a weight gain goal, then those are going to be 3 different ways that you're going to try and do a computation for yourself. So if you have a sedentary lifestyle, which is minimal amount of exercise, then you want to multiply your body weight, and you're trying to lose weight, and you want to try and multiply your body weight by 10 to 12. And then if you are in weight maintenance and you still have a sedentary lifestyle, then it's going to be multiplying your body weight by 12 to 14. And if you're trying to gain weight, then it's multiplying it by 16 to 18. If you're moderately active, in other words, if you're working out 3 to 4 times a week, then if you are trying to lose weight, you're multiplying your body weight by 12 to 14. If you're trying to maintain your weight, then you're multiplying your body weight by 14 to 16. If you're trying to gain weight, then you're multiplying your body weight between 18 to 20. And then if you're very active, in other words, if you're working out 5 to 7 times a week, then if you're trying to lose weight, then you're multiplying your body weight by 14 to 16. If you're trying to maintain weight, then you're multiplying your body weight between 16 to 18. And if you're trying to gain weight, then you want to multiply your body weight between 20 to 22. It's very, very simple, honestly. And then if you plug in the numbers into an app called Cronometer.com, then it's just going to tell you exactly how much of everything to eat, and it's going to break everything down for you. Is there a little bit of work involved in this? Yes, there's some work involved in it, but you can also rotate your meal plan that you create for yourself. Instead of having anyone do it or following anyone else's meal plan, you can create the meal plan yourself, come up with 5. And it doesn't have to match exactly, because if you notice, if you are multiplying your body weight, if you weigh like 180 pounds and you are multiplying your body weight by, let's say you're sedentary, you're multiplying by 10, and that's going to be 8, whatever 180 times 10 is, and then you're going to multiply what you weigh by 12, and then you're going to give yourself a range between whatever those 2 numbers are. And then so you're going to say, okay, well, I want to stay in between 1810 and whatever 180 by 12 is, and then you're going to try and stay within that range of whatever it is. So you can give yourself a range. It doesn't have to match exactly. Remember, calorie counting is not an exact science. You're just making an educated guess, and you're trying to get as close to the ballpark as possible. So I wouldn't call this the Holy Grail. It's just going to give you a really great educated starting position, and then you can start to manipulate the numbers from there.